Okay, so it is time to film a video, and I have been going through the beginnings of so many books. Like, I've started so many things. Some of the stuff is because, like, I definitely, desperately want to read it. This month we're trying to read a bunch of things that are like, that I bought this year. They're on my TBR now because I bought them this year. And so I have a lot of things that I desperately want to read. But then I have other things that I sort of like have to read, like ARCs, or I have this hold from my library for an audiobook that is for a book that I bought this year, but it's a really, really big book, and I checked it out this month thinking, okay, yeah, sure, I will read it, and now I have like less than 10 days left, and it's just like so big, but if I don't finish it, it's gonna go back, and I'm probably gonna have to have it on hold for like another 2 months before I can get a hold of it. So I'm just like starting a bunch of things and not finishing them right now. So what I'm thinking is that I need to like read something and finish it and feel accomplished. And I had put a manga on hold at my library at the beginning of April for the 30 and 30 manga challenge. This was a recommendation from one of the hosts. I was trying to get a bunch of the host recs so that I could read them, and it did not become available until May, like a couple weeks ago. So I did go and pick it up because it's something that is like never at my library, and I've been very, very curious about it. It's A Sign of Affection by Shu Morishita. This is the omnibus edition, so it has like 3 volumes in one. And then while I was there, I also picked up the second omnibus. I've seen this one around way more, whereas this one is like always checked out. You can tell it's been very much loved. The spine is like warping a little bit. People have definitely been reading this one, and mangas are pretty quick and easy to read for me. So what I'm thinking is today, while I have Elliot, who is currently downstairs playing with Play-Doh, I'm gonna be going back down there and sort of hanging out with her and just sort of seeing how much of this can I accomplish today. But also, what do I think about it? I have heard really, really, really good things about this. Like I said, it was a host rec for the 30 and 30 manga challenge, but I know that there was somebody else who follows me on this channel, and I had mentioned this at one point. They're like okay with it, but it's not like their favorite representation of being deaf in media. And this also came up when I was talking about like I Hear the Sunspot by Yuki Fumino, which I absolutely love. One of the characters in there is hard of hearing, but we end up having a bunch of other characters come in later volumes in the series. It's also a manga, where they also are deaf or hard of hearing. And we have this like big group network of people that are deaf or hard of hearing, and then also like the people that love them, their family, their friends, that kind of stuff. And I absolutely love that series. So I'm just sort of curious to see how the representation is in here, if I'm gonna like it or not. I actually have volume 9 on my TBR because it was a book that like accidentally got sent to me from somebody else's order. Like, it had somebody else's name on it on the inside, but the packaging was mine. And I was supposed to get like a Junji Ito, so when I contacted Barnes & Noble about that last year, they told me just to keep this one, and they sent me the one I was supposed to have. So I do have volume 9 in this series that, like, if I like these, I'm probably gonna want to own them because I have another one, and I do that in general. Lately, I have been getting a lot of mangas from my library, and then like if I am absolutely loving the series, I know I need to buy them. Have not done that yet, but like Insomniacs After School, Sakura Saku, I'm thinking also Snow White with the Red Hair. All of these are series that I've been reading from my library and absolutely loving, and I do want to eventually own them. So without further ado, I'm gonna be seeing how much of these I can read today, and then letting you know what I think. And hopefully this will get me kicked back into high gear for reading books and finishing them. Because like I said, I have like 4 things besides these outstanding that I'm in the middle of, and I'm not finishing them. We're gonna read these instead. Okay, so I have finished the first volume, right there, of A Sign of Affection. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5. It's not bad. It's not my favorite. I am intrigued currently to try more. This is obviously gonna be a romance. This was found in my adult comic, graphic novel, manga section in my library. They have it split up between young adult and adult. And these people are in college. She is 19, and so this, like I said, is in the adult section, and I don't know if it's just like I'm 35 or the things that I've been reading lately, even with people this age. She feels very young and naive. She is deaf, and they do talk about at one point that she was in a school setting from like elementary school through high school with only like 4 other people. So I'm assuming it's some sort of like deaf specific type of situation. So college for her was very different with so many other people. But she does feel very young and naive for being 19, for this being a romance series. We don't really know much else about them as characters yet, which is part of the reason I'm intrigued to continue. One thing I will say, and again, I am not like the be all end all of deaf or hard of hearing type of situations, because like I am not part of that community. However, she does have hearing aids, and the character from I Hear the Sunspot that is hard of hearing also has hearing aids, and we get really in depth on like what they do for him, and he has checkups on them, and like they're not 100%, you know, gonna help you hear or anything, but she has hearing aids and she is apparently like deaf, cannot hear. We have one small conversation where somebody asks about her hearing aids, and she says that she can sort of hear sounds with them on, but it is just a jumble of sounds. She can't tell where anything is coming from. She doesn't know what those sounds mean. She just hears sounds. And I am just sort of like, why are we wearing hearing aids if they're not aiding you in any way? Like, if you can't hear anything without them, fine, you're deaf. But if you can put them on and still not actually be able to hear anything and have them benefit you, I don't understand why that's in here. Maybe it'll change later, and this could just be a me thing. I did Google it because I was like, why does she have hearing aids on? There are many posts on Reddit about the book and the TV show being like, why is she wearing hearing aids? But not only that, they have her do some sign in here, which I do appreciate. But she's also supposed to be reading lips and things sometimes. And so yes, some of the interactions that she has with other people just feel a little bit like not as thought through as they could have, because sometimes people are talking when she shouldn't be able to like see them, at least based on the pictures in here, and yet she can still sometimes read them, or like the way that she's supposed to be reading their lips, like they're giving us the entire conversation. It's not like she's missing anything. So that could just be a stylistic choice, but I'm not entirely too sure how I feel about the actual disability representation in here yet. There is one other character besides our 2 people here who does sign for her, and it's a guy who, whenever he shows up, she seems annoyed at him, and I don't know if it's because he has come on to her in the past or if he's just sort of like the annoying, almost like little brother stereotype, even though it's like not exactly like that. So there was a little bit of like people coming to her level and treating her like a person, and doing sign language like this is her main language, which I did appreciate, even though him as a character is obviously not the best character. So all that is to say is I'm still intrigued, but I do have a few issues. We'll see how things go from here. It is time actually for lunch, so I'm gonna make some lunch and then continue reading. We might move upstairs and have Elliot play upstairs, and yeah, I do want to at least continue with the next 2. Usually manga series take me like 2 to 3 volumes to like really know if it's something I want to continue with or not. So that's going to be the goal for today. Yeah. Hi. What you doing? You my girl? Okay, sit down please. Thank you. Okay, so Elliot is here with me, obviously, and I have finished volume 2 here. I think I'm giving it a 3.5 again. It's very, very quick to read. Can you sit down? Can you sit down? Thank you. Very quick to read. And I think it's because there's not like a ton of dialogue. So it's going very, very quickly, but we're not really getting much more. Like I can sort of see like the cutesy vibes. Like she is very, very into this guy after only knowing him a little while. He travels abroad a lot, so he knows like a lot of languages. And so there is people talking about like maybe he's really into her because she can teach him Japanese Sign Language, not because of her. I don't see that, so I don't know. It sort of feels like the drama is being made up a little bit, but at the same time, there's not a ton of drama. Like, I almost wish there was a little bit more. So we're just at a point where I'm like wishing for more, but at the same time, it's just like very quick and fine. I don't know. We're gonna read one more volume. This is where we're at, one more volume, and see. If I'm still feeling the exact same way after this, I think I might be done and just say this series isn't for me. Like, I would almost expect by the time I get to like volume 3, 5-star reads, or at least like some pretty solid 4s in there, because like the quality of each volume is increasing and I'm loving what I'm reading. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so I finished volume 3 and I'm giving it another 3.5, which means, at least for me, I'm not going to continue with the series. Like I did show you earlier, I have the second omnibus. I will be taking these back to the library this week, probably. Maybe eventually I'll watch the anime. I don't know. There's just something about it that is not giving me enough of what I wanted. There was a couple times in volume 3 where I was just like, that sort of like, her innocence and naivety, I feel like people are infantilizing her a little bit, and they do talk about, at one point, the guy that's the main guy in here that's like sort of into her, talks about how she feels like pure in a way, like the world hasn't gotten to her because other people can't just like punch down on her because she can't hear them, that I'm just like, really? Like, the way that it was talked about, I just couldn't really get past that. And I mean, Elliot's over here being loud too. We do get into a point as well with the other person who knows sign language sort of talking to her in a way like she doesn't know who she is as a person. And like, yeah, she's 19. I do think in here she is very naive and innocent and doesn't know stuff in a way, but I don't like how the guys in her life are treating her because of that. While I do think this could be a cute romance, and like there is definitely like, we're in a relationship by volume 3, which is I guess good if you're looking for that kind of thing. Like, they're not really doing the slow burn nature of it too much, which truthfully I do like. I think that's part of the reason I read a lot more of the like young adult shoujo romance. Like, this one I would say is probably josei. I don't know 100% because I would have to like probably look it up and see like where it was published, like what magazines and stuff. But I do think I like the ones that are, I would consider more young adult, because a lot of them have really good relationship building, slow burnness, and then also a focus on like friendships. This one doesn't really have those friendships as much. We have a couple people that I would say are friends, but we're not really seeing friendship development. And so then besides that, the only other thing that we really have is romances, which we're very, very quick to jump into, and the fact that our main character just doesn't really know a ton of stuff about the world, but because of that, she feels very, very young. And I don't like how the guys are talking about her. So, yeah. I don't know if I would necessarily say that this is something that has a bunch of like ableism or anything in it, which I do like to be aware of when I'm reading things that have disabilities and things in them, because I do like having the diversity in my books. I love having LGBTQ characters, which this one doesn't as far as I'm aware, but I like having different things. So like people that are not just white like me, or that diversity of LGBTQ characters or disabilities, and I really love the fact that this was focusing on that. However, I still just, I don't know. The way that they're treating her and the fact that she is the only person we know of who is deaf or even hard of hearing in here, it's just not quite enough for me. Let me know if this is something that you guys like and if any of those things that I've mentioned change. But as of right now, I do think I'm going to be stopping with this series. I might try the anime, see if maybe that goes by quicker and in a better way for me. But I will say the goal has been accomplished today. I've officially read 3 volumes, and I started them and finished them. That was the main thing, right? The fact that I have like 4 other outstanding books because I just keep picking things up and then being like, oh, I need to read this other one, but I want to read this one, and then I go back and forth. So at least I've accomplished something like that. I feel like I have done well. So yeah, that's where we're gonna end for today. And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!